So let's begin today's session. Today, we're going to be talking about a book which is called The Obstacle is the Way. It's by Ryan Holiday, right? And it's about the ancient art of turning adversity to advantage, right? Joe, every time in life, what happens is we are faced with certain challenges. And these kind of challenges are constant when we go through our human life. Every human being goes through certain challenges. But what happens is, what defines us is not the challenges, but how we react and overcome to these challenges is what defines us. So that is what this book is all about. And everyone, if you've not started reading a book, you should definitely start reading a book. Maybe just start with one page on a daily basis, but do not miss to read that one page a day. So today's book is The Obstacle is the Way. So let's dive deep into it. So imagine when you're advising yourself as a friend to keep an objective perspective. How many of you have seen that, when we go and we advise people, we advise friends and family, we are much more objective and we can provide better solutions to them as to what they need to be doing. Whereas when it comes to us, we do not have the same amount of clarity. So that is what this book helps us to focus on. So when you look at other people's problem, you don't get so worked up about them and you perceive them objectively. So that what allows us to see a lot clearer, react accordingly, and give much better advice on how to tackle them. So that's very important, how we look at a certain situation. And then when we are actually having that problem, we are too close to the scenario. So that is something which we also have to make sure and understand that once we should advise ourselves the same way as how we would ever advise a friend. So you can be your own friend as well. Imagine you are your best friend and you try to tell yourself how to get past that obstacle, right? Keeping in mind your skills and assets, but forgetting about the emotion. So objectively, what people also do here is they tend, when they have a particular problem, right? So this is a very out of the box idea. What they also do is they imagine, right? At one place, Jeff Bezos is advising them. At one place, Bill Gates is advising them, and they get into that perspective कि अगर मेरे जगह जेफ बीजोस या बिल गेट्स होता वो क्या करता है मार्क जकरबर्ग क्या करता right? So you have to get into that objective zone and that eagle eye view where you can actually provide yourself that guidance of what you actually require, right? So the bigger the obstacle, the larger its weak spot. Use it against the obstacle. So हम ये हमेशा देखते हैं, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. So every obstacle has a fatal weak spot. The biggest obstacle in our life often also have large weaknesses which can be used against them in order to overcome them, in order to conquer them, and in order to change adversity into opportunity. Your anger and intolerance of cocky talk can be your downfall. And ये बहुत simple examples हैं where I have gone through this in my life कि अगर आप किसी की cocky talk, कोई आपका मजाक उड़ा रहा है or any of those things, you cannot let that get to you. You have to be bigger than that. So that is what this book also tries to teach us. Right? For example, there was this person, Jerry Ventrop. So he had a mean sergeant. When he was in the army, who would always treat him poorly and make fun of his name. One day, standing in the line to get food, Jerry whispered into his sergeant's ear, "I'm going to kill you." Right? So his sergeant yelled at him. Jerry repeated, "One day when you're alone, I'm going to find you and I'm going to kill you." The sergeant completely lost it and hit Jerry in the face. What happened was, one complaint to the colonel later, the sergeant was gone. His anger and intolerance of cocky talk were his downfall. Right? So similarly, all throughout our lives, there are people who would like to mock us, who would like to make fun, or just to put themselves up. They would like to put you down. So never get into that cocky talk. Never let it get to your head. Cricket में भी क्या होता है, sledging होती है, right? So when you are bowlers and you're the bowling team, दो batsmen batting कर रहे हैं, तो what will happen is you like tend to sledge them, gadda hai gadda niklega and all of those things, right? So the batsman cannot let all of those things get into their head, right? So similarly, जब भी ऐसे है, advise yourself as a true friend, always have an eagle eye view about your problems, try to look at it objectively, always be solution oriented, and never let cocky talks actually get onto your own head. So all obstacles have weaknesses, you just have to look for them. So again, इसमें भी क्या है कि अगर कोई आपके रास्ते में ऑब्स्टिकल है, इंडिया में हमेशा क्या चलता है यार, जुगाड़, हम जुगाड़ कर लेंगे. So like some of the best CEOs says कि जुगाड़ is not actually the right way. If you want, in order to move ahead, if you have an obstacle, you have to continue to move forward, overcome the obstacle, find the solution. Jugaad is not a legitimate thing which you can do as an entrepreneur. You always have to overcome challenges, right? Certain cases, maybe yes, jugaad might work, but in order to continue growing, continue moving forward in your life, you always have to, if you have obstacles, find solutions, always be solution oriented. So no matter what life throws onto your way, you will be able to overcome it. Same way with me as well, many times in my life as well, right? So it wasn't like a smooth transition from being a corporate employee where I was like earning 12,000 rupees in a particular month, and then what I was earning an entire, I was now able to make in a particular day. So it was not like just simple journey. A lot of times there were very adverse challenges which I faced, which could have made जो make or break करते हैं. So it's not about the challenges, it's about how you overcome them, how you look at the positive side of the entire thing, how you will face that challenge, how you will react, how you will move forward. That is what defines you, that is what continues to make you go forward in life. So your will is best used to accept the things you cannot change and change the things you can, right? Once you have the right perspective and know which actions you should take, getting past your obstacle is a matter of will. The Stoic advice on cultivating that will suggest you to accept the things you can't change and instead focus on changing the things you do have control over. Whatever you can't change is not for yours to complain about. बहुत सारे टाइम हम लाइफ में क्या करते हैं, we are always complaining about this thing or that thing. Always divide all the problems, obstacles into separate categories. Can you change them? Can you not change them? If you cannot change them, learn to accept it. If you can change them, go full force, full power in order to find solutions. Always be solution oriented instead of looking at the problem. 20% look at the problem, but 80% focus on solution. Always have that think, यार इसका solution कैसे करेंगे? How can I do it better? How can I automate this thing? How can I systemize this entire thing? Natural events, other people's choices and actions, sickness, death, and economic ups and downs are all part of the first category, external factors. However, your emotions, your judgments, attitude, responses, reactions, and decisions are all yours. This is what actually truly makes you, how you respond, how you react, how you decide what you need to do next when you face with challenges and obstacles. That is what defines you. And at all times, always remember, you always have a choice. It's always your decision. You can continue moving forward, right? And now take Thomas Edison, for example. When he was 67 years old, his entire laboratory burned down, including all of his experiments, prototypes, notes, research. Facing the facts, he decided to start over. Instead of mourning over $1 million loss, he could do nothing about. Once he'd gotten rid of a lot of rubbish, as he called it, he could start fresh and ended up making 10 million in profit by the end of the next year. बहुत सारे time, the biggest heroes, even अगर हम super hero movies देखें, कहीं पर भी देखें, they go through the biggest challenges in order to become superheroes. So the obstacles जो हमारे हैं, जो challenges हमारे हैं, they are always present in everyone's life. It's how we react, how we move on is what makes us a hero, not only for us, but also for our family and friends. So whatever you can't change is not yours to complain about. And this is like, absolutely true. If you cannot change it, what's the point of giving it extra thoughts? आप नहीं change कर सकते. Let it be, concentrate on things you can change and you continue moving forward. So the key action takeaways here are: you should never give up while facing challenges. No matter what the challenges is, continue moving forward. Dhoni, like, why was he again, like, the most successful captain India had? Was very simple, because no matter what the challenges, he never used to give up. He always had a simple philosophy: game को end तक लेके जाओ, last over तक लेके जाओ. And in that entire pursuit of him taking the game and keeping the hopes alive till the very end, so many victories which were not ours for taking were actually became ours, because he had that attitude never to give up. So you have to accept the things you can't change and focus on changing the things you do have control over. You should have to understand that all obstacles have their weaknesses. We need to learn to look at obstacles objectively, be solution oriented, to understand what the weaknesses are and how to overcome them. And yes, at the end, you can be your own friend. You can provide yourself the best guidance there is possible. And, that is what will always take you forward. So thank you for being part with us in